Hey everybody, Mike here. On the bench today, I've got this tiller made by Sunjoe. This is model number TJ603E. So this model comes in kind of in the middle of what Sunjoe has to offer. They've got some models that are down in the 6.5 amp range all the way up to I think 14, 15 amp if I remember right. This one comes in right at 12 amps. And I've had the opportunity to borrow this from my dad a few times now and use this out in my garden and places around the house where I don't necessarily need a big tiller to accomplish the task I'm trying to get done. This has a 16-inch width on it. They advertise this to be able to till down to around 8 inches deep. I've used a lot of tillers and different brands over the years. This Sunjoe model here ranks right up close to the top in terms of capability on the tillers that I've used over the years. Now this being an electric tiller, keep in mind it's not going to rival and compete against their top-end gas-powered tillers that are out there on the market these days. I will say for being electric as well, this has actually beat some of the gas tillers in terms of capability that I've used as well. Take that with a grain of salt. Even though this is an electric model, this thing packs quite the punch. I'm pretty fortunate in my area that we've got a really good soil. We do have some hard-packed clay in areas depending on where you're at. This isn't probably the tiller you'd want to grab to knock down a rocky surface or a fresh area that's never been tilled before. But if you're just doing it around the front of the house where maybe you've already had garden beds or you're just trying to maintain your garden from year to year, this honestly is pretty perfect as long as you've got access to power somewhere in that area. When it comes to your cord, you want to keep in mind the longer the run you've got, the thicker the cord you're probably going to want to run. My recommendation is to try to grab a good heavy 12 gauge cord, or if you're going a really long run, maybe even a 10 gauge cord. You're going to see a little bit of a voltage drop the longer the run. If you get those 16 gauge cords, it'll work. Just keep in mind you might lose a little bit of power when you're out there running this. Now, what's something nice about this unit is when you're not using it, by simply loosening these four knobs, this thing folds up rather easily. So you can store this in a pretty small location in your garage or your shed. It's got a nice spot here to run your cord in. So that kind of helps keep your cord locked in place and from coming unplugged while this thing's in use. The tines on this tiller rotate in a forward motion. So this tiller will actually pull itself along and self-propel itself to an extent while you're running this. The wheels back here have a spring-loaded mechanism. If you pull back here on the back, you've got 3 different positions you can lock these wheels in. So having the adjustability in the wheels really helps you dial into depth while you're going along and doing your tilling. So what I've come to find out over the years is not everyone needs a heavy gas-powered tiller, especially someone who's a little bit smaller frame build or maybe just getting up there in years. This tiller is extremely lightweight. This is going to be a great addition to their garden or landscaping needs and give them something that's a lot more manageable to use on a daily or weekly basis. So I've been really impressed with the Sunjoe line and the equipment they've got to offer, and this tiller is no different. As I said earlier, this thing really packs a punch. I've been extremely impressed with this over the last couple years. Dad's owned it, and I don't have a doubt this thing's going to last us for years to come. The 12 amp motor on this thing's got a ton of power to get us down the road, and it's accomplished just about everything we've thrown at it. That's all I got for you today, guys. I appreciate you watching. Hope that gave you a little insight into this little Sunjoe tiller. You guys have a good one.